Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Angie.
And together we are
TwinFinity. We did that in one take this time!
Didn't take 4.
Like our last video, if you happen to have seen that one. That was a disaster and a half, but we decided to leave it in for extra entertainment and just to keep it real.
It's amazing how difficult it gets when you try to add in the introduction of a dog.
And Christmas hats and all the other complications. No complications today, just New Year's decorations. That's it. Easy, simple.
Yes.
So, we'll probably say this at the end of the video too, but Happy New Year. Well, Happy New Year's Eve, I guess. Is that more appropriate? I don't know.
It is New Year's Eve.
It is.
Yeah, except it's the daytime part of New Year's Eve. I can see sunlight from down in the darker confines of our nice, toasty, warm, fireplace-laden basement.
Yes, we're sitting by the fire where it's warm.
Yes.
So we are doing 2 question and answer videos very close together because we're trying to get a little bit more caught up on our questions. We got a little bit behind, and well, really, we just got a lot of questions. So we're going to jump into them. Shockingly, we've never seen a page look like this. These are like super short. Most of the questions are like really short to the point. So not like long stories to read. We won't cover those ones today. That's for next.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Dear Lord. We probably won't even get through that whole page because there's a lot on there.
There is. And I get the feeling that sometimes a longer question takes a fair bit of time. And a short question can take a fair bit of time.
It still can, yes, because we're talkers too.
Yeah, so I really have no idea how this is going to go.
Agree. Agree.
Just because there's double-digit amount of questions on a page as opposed to 3 or 4 doesn't make each question shorter.
That's right.
I'm predicting that.
Okay.
I'm not going to try too hard to make that true.
You could just dive into the
questions.
Yes.
Okay. Question 1.
We don't have any announcements or anything, do we?
No, not really.
If you have to think about it, I don't think we do.
Okay.
Okay.
First question.
Yes.
I'm confused about the seeming contradiction between trusting in divine timing and surrender versus manifestation and intention in order to create the life you want. Any thoughts to clarify?
Yes, that's a very fair question. It can be very confusing and very contradictory when looked at from the logical mind perspective. But it actually, it all works together when you understand it from a complementary way of looking at it. So they're talking about divine timing and surrender. So in other words, just surrendering to the journey and letting things happen in divine timing, whether that be reconnecting with your twin or coming into union with your twin or whatever, right? Versus
manifestation
and intention in order to create the life. So they're referring to the life you want. I'm assuming because we're talking twin flames, this is twin flame specific, but it doesn't really have to be, I suppose. The answer is the same no matter what it is.
There's 2 big words in here, and I'd like to take them out and substitute a different word for them, and then take one of the other words that's in this and use it specifically as the opposite. Okay. So, divine timing and surrender is allow.
Okay.
Manifestation and intent of order is create. So one, you're allowing the energy to flow as opposed to standing in its way. The other one is taking energy that's stuck and trying to move it forward. So it all depends upon whether or not you think you're stuck or whether you've got fears or bits and pieces from your past, as an example, that are getting in the way of allowing energy to flow.
It's interesting that you use the perspective of stuck, because I don't necessarily see that you have to be stuck in order to create.
True.
Because we are creators. We're always creating.
But then again, if you're trying to practice your creation, but you're not getting anywhere with it, it could be because you're stuck, or maybe you're just not in the right space to actually manifest properly. Like you sometimes catch me on. I'll say something that's a little bit negative as far as an potential outcome of a situation.
Yes.
And I catch a little bit of heck would be the right word.
Yes.
That doesn't quite get
like, what kind of manifesting is that? Come on now. Yes.
Difference between manifestation and sometimes realism, but that's a dimensional thing.
Okay. I don't even want to open that door. I want to answer this person's question.
Okay.
Okay, so they actually work in tandem. Divine timing and surrender is part of using manifesting and creating, because you have to kind of work in the flow. So you can be thinking, manifesting, creating the life you want, but then you also have to surrender to the divine timing. So it's not that you just sit back and go, okay, well, it'll happen in divine timing. I'm just going to carry on with my life and do nothing. No, you have to actually be an active participant in the surrender. This might not be the best example, because I know there's people out there trying to create something much bigger than, well, actually, I'm going to use our bedroom set instead of the blanket was what I was going to use. The blanket that's on our bed. Yeah. But I'm actually going to use our bedroom set because that was a bigger manifestation. So I think we shared with you a while ago, we got this new bedroom suite that's all mirrored. It's really pretty. It's like this castle-looking bedroom set. And we had seen it years ago, loved it, but number one, we didn't need a new bedroom set. Number two, we didn't want to spend the money that it cost, so we just didn't get it. Now it came up, and it was less than half price, and I was like, oh my God, I have to have this. So we agreed, okay, we're going to get it. And then Spirit was like, wait, stop. You need to surrender. And I was like, what do you mean I need to surrender? And they said, you have to put energy into this before you can just tell the lady, yes, I'm going to come buy it. So I literally was guided to put our energy in this, and I had to. It was funny that it's all mirrored, because what I was guided to do is put our energy in one piece of the bedroom set, and then with the mirror, see it reflecting all to the other pieces, so that it was like surrounded in our energy. So it wasn't just a manifestation of, okay, here's what you want. You've been manifesting it for years, now go get it. It was a practice of putting my energy into it, and then I had to surrender and let it unfold the way Spirit guided it to unfold, not the way my ego wanted it to unfold. So when Spirit finally said, when I did all this energetic work, and Spirit finally said, okay, now you can, message a lady and get this bed, she now said, sorry, somebody else is going to come by, and they've offered to pay more money. And I was just like, what? I was devastated. I lost my bed. And not just bed, it was like the whole bedroom set, all the pieces. And Spirit just kept telling me, no, it's yours, but you have to put your energy into it, and you have to surrender. It was a huge practice of learning to surrender. So every day, I mean, not even every day, it was almost every minute sometimes. You know how the more you want something, the more, like, your mind is just, it won't stop. It's almost obsessive. We've talked about this. I was obsessive over a bedroom suite, and I had to constantly get out of ego, get back into my soul, and go, I know this is mine, and it will be mine in divine timing. I had to surrender to the divine timing. We keep freezing. So, finally, when I had fully surrendered, less than a week later, the lady messaged me and said, the other person never showed up, it's still yours if you want it. And I was just like, oh my God. So it was a huge practice of manifesting, but surrendering to the divine timing all at the same time. And when I was working on Rob's and my energy to come into union, which I didn't know at the point of time then that we were coming into union, but for 6 months before we came into union, I was guided to do the same thing, surround us in energy and do all this energy work, but then also surrender to the divine timing. So it was about manifesting and creating what I wanted, but also letting go of the attachment to it and knowing that it would come to me in the right time. So I hope that's a way of explaining it that helps you understand that it works all together. It's not one or the other. They're complements of each other, not contradictory. So it's learning to follow your inner guidance of when it says move ahead, push forward with this, or surrender, or follow the divine timing, or whatever else you're guided to. But what I have learned is those all work together when you're guided to do whatever you're supposed to do.
I don't have a whole lot to add to this because I'm not really all that extraordinarily skilled um, at just leaving things for divine timing. As an example, as much as I preach patience, sometimes when I see something, I just leap at it. I'm not very patient at all, and sometimes it's not to my benefit. Sometimes it is, but wow, when Angie decides that she's heard just enough that she is going to just let something be more of a divine timing thing, I get nervous.
Even my friend did. She was like, "Oh my God, that's your castle bed. You have to have this bedroom set." And I was like, "I know, but Spirit's telling me I have to surrender." And she's like, "What? Surrender?" I'm like, "I know, but I've learned enough on this journey to know that if I follow Spirit, things work out magically instead of if I just push ahead with my ego." And they do. They always work out better if we work with Spirit and surrender when we're guided to. So, yeah, even when Rob was like, "Why didn't you just go get it?" I'm like, "Because I was told not to yet." It was hard. But it was worth it because every single time I walk in our bedroom, I don't know how many times in a day, and every time I see it, I'm just like, wow. Like the wow gets bigger every time. It doesn't get smaller. And I appreciate it more because I put so much energy and work into it, just like us. I appreciate us because of the work and energy we put into coming together. So when you actually do the work the way you're guided to, it's always magical. It's always so divine, and divine timing really does play a part. And that's why if you're guided to follow divine timing, it's because Spirit has a bigger plan than you.
I'll take back a little bit of what I said earlier because Angie just reminded me that I very much was in surrender and just go with the flow mode when we were getting together. I really didn't know day to day, week to week how things were going to unfold. Every day I'd wake up and go, well, it's a work day. Just go to work and see what else transpires.
We thought it would take years to be living together,
or at
and
least
it was
many months. When it really started to kick around, it was better measured in weeks.
But that's true.
Yes.
We had no idea, and then a week and a half, 2 weeks, and then poof, we were living together, and we're like, how did this all just happen?
Yeah.
We couldn't have made that happen if we tried. And that's where the surrender comes in. So yes, I was guided to do a bunch of energy work and do all of these things and manifest us being together. But as to the when, I had to totally surrender. We had to totally surrender.
So sometimes it's manifestation and then surrender and with a bit of allow throw in after that.
Totally.
So you sort of bounce back and forth between them. If sometimes after doing your manifestation, there is no path. So then that's where the complete surrender comes in.
Yeah.
And then when it starts to show up, then you have to decide whether you're going to manifest a bit more or just go into the allow it to keep on going mode. So yeah, I'm glad that Angie looks after most of that because in the shuffling of the deck, I think I'd turn the cards over and keep on trying to manipulate it too much.
Well, I've just learned over the years. I mean, my very first manifestation, before I even knew what manifestation was interestingly enough, the apartment I moved into where Rob and I met. I was manifesting a specific thing without even understanding that I was manifesting because I had no clue what that even was yet. And it happened way better than I could have even planned, to the point where I even had pink carpet in my apartment. I know that sounds creepy, but I loved it. Yeah,
same with me. Our apartment was our both of our apartments were both what we were looking for
Yours
before
didn't have pink carpet.
before we started looking. No, mine had tan carpet.
Yeah.
Both my first and second apartment in the same building
we
on the
keep
same
freezing,
floor.
so if it looks weird on your end, I'm sorry. Our computer's just being glitchy.
Well, it's cold outside.
Okay, it's warm in here though.
It is nice and warm.
So anyways, sorry for all the long tangents. Hopefully that helps you to understand. If I could just sum it up, the best way to work with divine timing, allowing, and creating and manifesting is work with spirit. If you're trying to do it on your own, it's going to be more challenging. When you learn how to connect with your inner guidance, your higher self, your soul self, your spirit team, whether you want to call them angels, guides, all of it, it gets much easier because then you have all sorts of help, all sorts of guidance to know when to push forward and when to stay still, when to just kind of hold back. So, yeah.
Yes.
Now this next question.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a shot.
Okay, I just have to explain. I don't know if you'll be able to read all my handwriting.
Do you want to?
I just want to explain first of all.
Yeah.
If you've asked a question and we haven't answered it yet, please don't re-ask it because we got so many questions, I don't keep track of who's asked what. I just put it on a Word document and then we get to it when we get to it. But somebody has just re-asked a question and I didn't realize they had already asked it until we were reading the questions for this. And I'm like, oh, I just copied that into the document for like a few videos future. So what I've done is taken her original question, it's on here, but then I've handwritten her updated question because it actually adds some clarity. So I don't know if you can read the pink.
Do you want me to read the pink or do you want me to read the original?
I want you to read both if you can read the pink, but if you can't, I will read it.
Okay.
Because that's my printing.
I'll read the original question. I've kind of glanced through the pink handwriting and it looks very similar.
It is, yeah, it's the same question, but the other one adds a little more depth.
So the original question is what to do if twin flames met twice on the road and ran away from each other from a fear of shocking similarities. They've been without contact information. It's been 20 years and I think I'll never find him again and I can't fall in love again.
Okay, so then the added information is I met my twin flame twice. We split from fear without any contact information. This is the important part, I think. Should I create a website for lost souls in order to find him? I am in separation 20 years now, and it's the most important thing in my life. So I think that the thing about the website is actual additional good information because what they're basically saying is randomly I've met this person twice. We've had this magical connection, and now I don't know how to contact him. He doesn't know how to contact me, and I can't move on with my life. So obviously there's a unique connection there. How do I refine this person? The best answer I can give you, and if there was one thing I could impart to every single twin flame in the world, is the reminder that this is a journey of your soul. It's not a journey of your mind. It's not a journey of your ego. It's not a journey of your body. Yes, those are all part of you, but it's a journey of your soul. And with that comes the knowing that your soul has all the information. Your soul has the map inside of you. So you don't need to go create a website unless you're guided to. That might be what your soul is guiding you to do. Sure, if you're guided to do that, go for it. But if you're in your head going, how am I ever going to find this person? I got to create a website and I got to do this and I got to send out information all over the world to track this person down. That's coming from a desperate energy rather than a creative energy. So what I would suggest you do is, much like the last question, is connect with your inner guidance, connect with your spirit team, your higher self, your angels, your guides, whatever it is that you work with, and get guidance that way. And then you will be easily guided to what you're meant to do rather than struggling. And then you will naturally find each other. It doesn't need to take a bunch of effort. Like, did my soul know, or did my logical mind know Rob was in another city and I had to move to that city? No, my soul called me to the city where he was, even though my logical mind was like, I don't want to move. I'm a total homebody. I'm not going to a city where I don't know anybody. I went, and without even understanding what was happening, my soul guided me to find him in a weird, strange way. If you've watched our story videos, if you haven't, we'll link them above. But I wrote this weird note and put it in our laundry room and just said, hey, I'm new to the city and looking to meet friends, and I like activities, and I like hiking and biking, and he was one of the people that responded. So yes, I did something completely out of the ordinary, but I didn't do it from a desperate energy of, oh my God, I have to find my right mate. Even though back then, of course, we knew nothing about twin flames. I just did it out of pure inner guidance. So that's what I would recommend that you do is don't stress about it so much. Just ask for guidance on how you can find him again. And again, then in divine timing, that's where the surrender comes in, is allow it to happen. Because if you've met him twice, your soul is going to lead you to him again, and his soul is going to lead him to you again.
I have almost a opposite take, but with the same final answer.
Oh, now I'm intrigued.
I would say yes, do the website thing, but I totally agree with Angie. Don't approach it from a desperation point of view. Approach it from almost a fun point of view, a light point of view. Don't allow too much heavy fear, concern, energy to be part of the effort. It'd be the kind of thing where you'd, well, okay, I'm gonna speak from a real, very dense point of view here, where you crack open a couple of beer and write your web story out, and then say, okay, well, this could be fun, and you click the post button, and then at that point, go right to surrender and go out and do the thing that you find the most fun. Again, in your life, fun thing. Keep the energy light, keep it positive, let the energy flow. Don't burden yourself with expectations. So turn it into a fun exercise with low expectations, but surrender is still the final result, because there still might be something on the other side, on his side, that requires a little bit more divine timing. We're back to that again.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just another example of how you can practice divine timing and surrender and manifestation. It's a great example.
The fact is, when you're the same soul, or you share the same energy, you're beacons of light. And even if your logical mind, your humanness, has no idea where the other person is, your soul does. Your soul is always communing with itself, right? Because it is the same energy, it's the same makeup. So you're feeling them, they're feeling you, and when the time is right, everything will line up for you to reconnect. It's quite hard for the logical ego mind to understand that, because the ego mind likes to be the one in control and have to manipulate everything and make it happen. But on this journey, there's less about make it happen and more about allow it to happen.
Yes.
So good luck. I would be interested to know how it turns out eventually in its divine timing.
Of course.
Yes.
All right. Anything else?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Next question.
Yes.
I met a person who mirrors me in everything. I saw 1111 always alone now. It's, oh boy. Hang on.
I think a lot always.
Oh yes, sorry. It's a grammar thing. Don't worry about this. I'll pick through it. I saw 1111 always alone. Now it's 3 times I see it in relation with this person. We've been friends for 10 years online. We also look a lot alike and have much in common. Now he says to me he is bisexual and has a male partner. Can it be possible that one twin is straight, and the other is bisexual? If yes, does it mean that they are not meant to be together as a couple?
Do you want to take that one first? You want me to?
No, I'll let you take a run at that first.
Okay. I'm so intrigued by this question. And I don't mean to have, lack of compassion, because I can imagine this must be really hard for the person that asked this question, because that would like kind of throw you for a loop, and all these things you think you know and you kind of have figured out, and then all of a sudden, wham, this person's now with the opposite sex, and you're like, what? So the good news is, once again, much like the answer from the previous question, this journey is a journey of the soul, not of the body, not of the mind, not of the ego. So just because they are exploring a different sex right now and they're exploring bisexuality, it does not at all, in my opinion, mean that you can't be together someday, that you can't have union with them. It's just they're going down a different path, which is probably going to help both of you, because it's going to open up doors for you both with their growth and your growth through this whole experience. As you know, we all come into our own twin flame journey with our own challenges, our own things that we have to break, whether it's, age, religion. This happens to be what yours is learning to get past the whole thing of bisexuality or whatever kind of sexuality. Understanding that you're connected no matter what. And that you can have connection no matter what. Maybe this is a road they just need to experience to grow, to heal. Maybe this has to do with a past life experience that they need to clear. Who knows? But obviously it's part of their journey and something that they need to go through. But I don't see why at all this doesn't mean that you're not meant to be together as a couple at some point.
I'm not going to go down the road of togetherness. Angie covered that very well. My first thought was, you can still be friends. You can still be in touch with each other.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't necessarily work well with the thought of union versus not, but at the same time, there are a lot of twins out there that would gladly at least take the opportunity to be in touch with their friends.
Have friendship at least.
Friendship with their twin. So, wow, you've got some road forward here. I think you're on the good side of the curve anyway. So, yeah, just shoot for a friendship. And maybe there's lots of learning that people around you, someone you have in your life or his partner, they could all go through the growth of understanding how you are twins and friends, but not together. We see that every so often.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, this is still a really good opportunity to step forward, just not necessarily in the original expectation. Yet.
Yes, thank you.
Yet.
I was just going to say at this point, because nobody knows the future. If your one soul and two bodies has decided it's going to have union, then it will have union. It just will be, like the first question said, in divine timing, which I know we all hate. Who doesn't hate that at some point? It's like, yeah, divine timing, whatever. I want it now. That's where the good old surrender comes in.
Surrender.
Yeah, and for those that think surrender ends as soon as you get into union, no. You just learn how to practice it easier and easier because you've had enough experiences to know that, okay, if I surrender, this will happen the way it's supposed to. So you just get better at it.
Sort of like me rebuilding my stereo system.
For the 15th time.
For the 15th, well, it's probably about
17th, 20th.
8th or 9th time. Yes. Angie just has to surrender because I just insist that I have to keep on trying it again.
Yes.
Usually something goes wrong and I have to go in and fix it. Yes. And in order to fix it, I have to tear it all apart to get to the piece that needs to be fixed. That's where I have to surrender is, it's not just the first thing that you can put your fingers on that'll break. No, it's the piece buried right in the middle. That's my surrender. Everything's a full overhaul. Next question.
Yeah.
A week ago, a health healer told me that my soul told her that my twin and I are not twin souls, but that we are twin flames. She said my soul told her that we are not the same soul. She doesn't know about twin souls herself, so I don't know how to take what she said. And it was interesting that she, or my soul, sees twin souls and twin flames as different. I have felt he and I are twin souls since I first learned about twins in 2003 and read about them, and then continuing with all the YouTube channels that emerged in 2017. Twin souls versus twin flames. Boy, wow. This is just
Should I dive in while you collect your thoughts, or you?
It is just so controversial because as soon as you make a definition for one or the other, someone will say that they've got a slightly different definition. Still different, but similar. Okay, you take the first dive.
Well, yes, to kind of go off of what you just said, everybody has their own definition of what a twin flame is, what a twin soul is. Personally, we see it as the same thing. If you, and I don't mean you as in the person that asked this question, but you, anybody watching, has a different perspective and sees twin flames and twin souls as different, that's absolutely fine. We all are entitled to our own opinions and our own beliefs, and that's all good. It's just from our own experience, we see it as the same thing. So the question here is, this person also believed that they were the same thing until somebody told them that their own soul said their twin and them are actually not the same soul. So I would advise, much like I've done with people that go to a reader and the reader says, this is not your twin flame. And then the person's devastated going, what? I knew it was my twin flame. How could you tell me it's not? Take everything with a grain of salt when you go to another reader, because they're someone else. They're not you. They're not living inside your body. They are not living with the knowingness that you have of your own connection with somebody else. They've met you for maybe an hour, or maybe they're, a regular person that you see all the time. Who knows? But the fact still is, you are living this connection, not them. So if you feel you are connected in a soul way with this other person and you call them a twin flame or a twin soul, go with that. I would worry very little about what somebody else says, even if they say your soul told me. Really? Sure, your soul can tell somebody else, but your soul can also tell you, because you're connected to your soul in a different way than anybody else is, because your soul is living, I don't even want to say in your body, because your soul doesn't live in your body. It lives, like, it's so big, it lives around you as well. So yeah, I would take it with a grain of salt. If it feels good, like, how they say, if it resonates, keep it. If it doesn't, let it go. That's how I would take it.
This is, I'm glad Angie did a lot of talking there, because I've still been collecting words, and I still am right at this moment, or else I'd say something. But
you don't have to answer every question,
no,
though, too. We don't both have to if you don't have a response.
I actually am quite happy to respond with this one. I have found through my experience in communication with people that for the most part, if they have a concern and they feel that they're a twin flame, or if they have the same concern and they've called themselves a twin soul, or in many cases, if someone has the same question and in regards to their soulmate, that really it doesn't make a whole lot of difference what the answer is. Where the label has started has made so little difference in most of the cases that I just tend to blend them all together as divine relationships, because the divine relationships tend to have similar questions, struggles, and paths. Now, if someone has had a specific journey that has caused them to need to differentiate between a soulmate, a twin flame, or a twin soul because of something very specific in that journey, then that's been part of their journey. They've needed to learn that.
Yeah.
So that's also fair. But really, in the big scheme of things, similar, yes. Important, only to the individual.
I think that's a great way to say it.
So the only thing that I feel a little twinge of guilt on in this, and I'm going to use it as a little guilt. This is something that I think I'm going to put a little bit more energy into, because I think I would be a bit better off myself if I could functionally define the difference between all the slight subsets of divine relationships. I think I'm going to put some effort into that, because a question like this, as much as my answer would be the same, I feel just a little undereducated.
Okay. Well, when you learn, tell me.
Okay. I've actually read a couple of passages within books that are to dealing with spirituality that did define the actual differences, and I still didn't find it important enough to remember the differences. So I guess I got to go back and read it again.
Well, and I guess that this is where the labels get caught up on, and we're not so hung up on the labels, and I think that's the important thing, is to not be hung up on the labels, is to be more focused on the connection itself. Do you have a connection with this person? Yes, you do. That's what's to focus on. Whatever you call it, if you're the same soul or not the same soul, does it really matter? And maybe it does to you. I'm just saying, in my perspective, it doesn't. Like, do I focus on we're twin flames, we're twin souls? I don't care. It's a label. We use it because we need to in order to define something. Otherwise, people, we're doing videos, people wouldn't understand or connect with us at all. You got to use something, but I think it's important to just not get hung up on it.
I resonate with the term twin flames.
Yes.
That I really do. Like, soulmate has never been part of my existence enough that I've really embraced it. Twin flames, I did.
Yeah.
More work to do.
So I hope that's helpful.
Thanks for the question. Sometimes the question creates more work as opposed to less.
Yeah. Now Rob's going to go study.
Now I'm gonna go study. You're right.
I'll ask in meditation sometimes and see what comes up.
Yes, and she'll probably come out of meditation with a better answer than what I'm going to find by doing some very specific research.
I don't know. I think that they work in tandem together.
Next question.
Sure.
Not very many words. So
but it's going to have a long
much answer. Why do you think so many twins are still in separation?
Oh dear.
Because
the look on your face was just like...
Because I'm going to say something that Angie disagrees with.
Okay.
Because I don't believe that because two twins are incarnated at the same time that they are meant to be together.
Well, and I have expanded my thought on that, and I don't necessarily believe that either, which is why I say it's more about what your soul has decided before it incarnated on Earth. Because, yeah, I used to say, if you're incarnated, you're meant to be together. And I don't necessarily believe that now. Sometimes you've come together to activate each other, and maybe that's it. But I don't like to say that to too many people, because that doesn't give them a lot of hope. That's discouraging. But obviously, if they've come into your life, they've come for a reason, and I believe it's a very big and impactful reason. Now, I also had... Do you have more? I'm sorry.
I do have a little bit more.
You go ahead then. I wrote some notes for this one.
I believe it also has a lot to do with what your journey is supposed to teach you, if you're open enough to follow that direction of your journey.
Yeah.
If you're meant to feel connection without actually understanding the actual three-dimensional portion of the connection, you can be incarnated at the same time as your twin and never meet them, but always be able to feel them, and you learn to trust that feeling. Now, some people will spin that off as being feeling like that they're in touch with their. Oh wow, I love that when a term leaves my mind. With their guardian angel. Yes, I've talked about that before.
Yes, you have.
So they might not. They have to call it something because they know they're in communication with something, but if they don't even know that a twin exists.
You did a whole video on that.
I did.
And I'm going to link it above. I don't know which side. I think it goes over here. I'll try. If I can find his video. He did a video on this.
Yes.
A year ago at least. If not a while ago. I don't know. Anyway.
So sometimes you're meant to meet your twin but not be with them, which some would call it possibly just a triggering connection, or others have worded it a trauma connection. I think the term was actually trauma bond.
Trauma bond, but I don't think that's a twin flame thing.
But
man, our computer's unhappy today.
And then there's other times where you're actually meant to have some form of a relationship, be it just a friend as per a previous question here, or actually be in union. So there's different levels of connection with your twin. Some of them require being in union and others don't. It's just because there's so many different levels of what we've seen for connection with people, and some of it has worked, some of it's been very educational. Yeah, some of it's been very frustrating. But with all these different levels of connection that seem to exist, you wouldn't want to say that they're not supposed to exist at those levels of connection. So I've learned to embrace them and define them at their various levels of connection.
Yeah, and you did a good video on that, which is why I want to link it, because it's worth watching or rewatching if you've watched it before. Now, I'm trying to read my notes, and I can't read them all.
See, not everything written in pink is legible.
Nope. I have a word here. I don't even know what that means.
Let me try that.
That's funny. I can't even.
Fear.
Fear. Oh, thank you. That's so funny. You can read my writing.
That time it worked.
So, why do you think so many twins are in separation? A lot of fear, because a lot of people still have fear of connection, fear of intimacy, fear of getting too close to somebody, so that still needs to be healed and worked on. So that's one of many reasons. Divine timing is another. We've said this in other videos, is that if you understand the bigger purpose of what twin flames are here for, it's not just to have a wonderful flowery relationship and be in love.
It can be.
Well, that's nice. Sure it is. And I'm not disputing that. But there's a bigger perspective to it all. We are here to help with the ascension. We are here to literally and figuratively light up the grid. So all over the world there's twin flames, and when another twin flame couple comes into union, it creates almost this light bulb for the whole grid, right? So if you imagine the whole earth, there's another light bulb, another light bulb, another light bulb. So we can't have everybody come into union at once, because it would just go pff, and much like a power grid, it would what's that right word with the grid? What happens with the power grid?
Where it goes to a brownout, or
sure, like where it just
collapses.
Yeah,
where the grid goes dark.
Yeah,
you break you pop a circuit breaker.
Thank you, a circuit breaker. Yes, you pop a breaker because you've done too much at once.
That was a real combination of thoughts. I was having my own complete different thought line while Angie was talking. And all of a sudden she hits me with a question. I'm like, wow.
He's like, I'm not paying attention to what you say. Oops.
Well, it sort of was, but I knew you were talking about the grid and power and poof, and I was thinking poof in a different way. No, sorry.
The point being, we can't all light up the grid at once. We got to do it little by little by little, so that we light it up evenly rather than blow it up. We don't want to blow up the earth. We're here to light it up. So that's another reason, is again the divine timing of, around the globe when you come into union. It's not just for your own individual purpose, that's where the divine timing comes, is that it's for all of humanity's purposes too. That's another reason. Now, this other one might trigger some people, and I'm sorry, but I also think so many twins are still in separation because there's a lot of people who are chasing somebody who isn't their twin flame. They might not even be a twin flame. I mean, twin flames has become such a fad that everybody thinks they're a twin flame or wants to be a twin flame. And those of us that are true twin flames, we all know that we don't. When we discovered we're twin flames, we're like, oh God, really? I wouldn't want to be that. I don't want to be that. Because it's hard work. It's not an easy journey. But there's a lot of people that think they're in a twin flame relationship and they're not. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people who are with a narcissist and think they're with a twin flame, which is why eventually we will do a video to kind of explain the differences, because
we keep threatening to do that.
We do, and someday,
months and months have gone by.
Someday, divine timing.
It's taken us longer to get to this video than it did to get into union, almost.
Not quite. But it's easy to be with a narcissist and think they're a twin flame. I could have easily made that mistake if I'd known what twin flames were when I was with a narcissist connection. Which, again, I don't judge as something bad. That was one of the greatest gifts my journey ever experienced, was being with a narcissist. But the fact is, a lot of people are with people that probably aren't their twin. There's some people that might not even be a twin flame, but they think they're a twin flame because they want the romance. They think it's this great, wonderful connection, and they're just kind of in the journey for the romance, but not the work. So, once again, sorry if that's very triggering. That's my opinion. I'll leave it at that.
I just want to go back to that word, fear. There's another thing that happens a lot with twins, divine relationships, etc., is when that initial spark happens, that initial getting together happens, it is so unusual and so new that it scares people.
Yeah.
You can be afraid of your own connection because it's something like you've never experienced before. So that particular fear can be so traumatizing to one or the other that one or the other doesn't allow that connection to ever happen again. It's like when you've gone to a formal event and they're taking pictures of each person as they're coming in, and that flash bulb goes poof. You go, wow, that was bright. Do I really need to do that again? Yeah, you know it was just a picture. But yeah.
Interesting analogy.
Yeah. So anyway, yes, lots of poof, lots of light bulbs. And yeah, sometimes a person's grid will blow a circuit breaker and go dark on them. And they'll just not want to plug that all in again because that was just too much information.
You know, while a part of me agrees with that, a part of me gets triggered when you say that too. Because the human can say, sure, I'm never doing that again, that was too scary. But once again, this is not a journey of your humanness, this is a journey of your soul. And their soul will kick their ass. Go ahead and bleep me on that.
Bleep.
Yelling and screaming. Hey, I had a lot of fear. I was the runner. I can talk from fear. I get it. And I'm still here because my soul was like, no, you came here for this intention. You're doing it. We don't care how scared you feel or how scary this journey is. Get your butt out there, do your healing, and get on with it. And I was like, okay.
Again, from an opposite point of view. It's just,
is this opposite day?
This must be opposite day.
Okay.
Life is a journey of choices.
Yes.
Some choices you can make, and other choices you're guided in or coerced into by various other bits and pieces, otherwise known as the divine, to lean in a certain direction. But it still is choices, and sometimes you can choose a real stubborn choice, and therefore you have put yourself on a path of this lifetime that does not allow you to make other choices. And then when you go back into spirit, you go, oh, well, I guess I chose that route. Now I can incarnate again and maybe choose a little bit differently. Still
Bursting with things to say.
This is like me when I do poor manifesting. I'm in so much trouble.
Are you done? If you're not done,
Let's just say at the rate I'm going, I better be done.
Okay. Twin Flames 101. Twin flames are advanced souls.
Yes.
Okay. So as advanced souls, we are not souls that come here and go, oh, well, that was a path I chose in spirit. I don't want to do it now. We came here with a mission. If we came here and we volunteered, I will go help humanity. I will help with the ascension. Whatever it takes, I'm there. We all did that. I know some people are like, I did not. I wouldn't choose this horrid path. We did. We volunteered. So, if we volunteered for this as advanced souls, do you not think we would come here and then screw up our mission and go, oh, well, I decided I don't want that path anymore. This is just my opinion. It's a strong opinion. But if we came here because we didn't come here just to serve another person and be in this romantic little sweet connection. We came here to serve humanity. Yes. I don't think we would fail that mission. That's a big damn mission.
If a pair of twins has one twin that doesn't necessarily go out there and serve humanity, but they end up being a very positive influence to a small group of people around them, like friends and family, while the other one's out there, just to use the words, on a bigger mission, saving the world, does that mean that the twin couple has failed?
No, but what I mean is if your mission was to get into union, to come into union to help light up the grid, I don't think you're going to come down here and forget or choose a different path. You came here with one path in mind.
That's fair.
Just my opinion. You're welcome to throw your opinions out there. And the reason I'm so strong about this is because I remember sitting in front of my council before incarnating and literally lining out my life and planning out my different routes. And we had even put in roadblocks because I have been suicidal in a lot of my lives. We put in roadblocks where, what is wrong with our computer today? When anytime it was going to get hard, they put in a roadblock of like, there's no opportunity for you to commit suicide this time. You cannot fail. You have committed to not just help your own life, but other people's. And I remember my council being pretty firm with me. They were mean, but they were firm. They were like, you chose to do this. You volunteered. You are not coming back to spirit until it's done. I'm like, okay, I won't screw up this time. So this is why I have the strong opinion, because I remember that being my experience. Now, just because it was my experience, is it everybody's? No, I guess not. But I just think if we've all volunteered and been chosen. We volunteered. There was lineups of souls saying, I will go. I will come to Earth at this challenging time to help with the ascension. And it was the most advanced of us that were chosen out of all the volunteers. So if we said we would do this, I can't imagine we would just skip out on our commitment.
I can't disagree with any of that.
That's all I have to say. You're welcome to disagree. It's just my strong opinion.
It's just that there's so many perspectives. I wish I could remember my my chat with my council.
Well, the only reason I remember mine is because they gave me memories of the other side, so I would get it together. This life. Yes. I am an advanced soul, as are we all. I'm not saying that in any sort of ego perspective. But even though I'm an advanced soul, Earth is not my favorite place. I remember higher realms that are much easier. Earth is it's a really dark, dense place, and it's hard to be on. And my soul's super ego, and it's like, let's take on 15 challenges in one lifetime, and we're going to accomplish them all. And then I get down here, I'm like, oh dear God, this is hard. One challenge was too many. I don't want to do it. So they were like, you're going to remember this time, so you can't fail.
I guess it's all in a little bit of the differences of the journeys. I also, too, feel that Earth is very dense and somewhat unfriendly, and it doesn't really bend very well to higher purposes. But part of my journey, and almost the biggest portion of my journey without Angie, is to actually bond with the earth. Hence why I've been such a nature person, just out there enjoying mountains, enjoying rivers, enjoying the ocean, even letting the bonsai pipeline in Hawaii beat up on me till my every bit of me was full of sand. I was just done. I was just destroyed. But yet, it was a great experience. So I think that because my journey is to bond with the earth, haven't been quite so hard on it. I'm not a suicide person. Very much not. I've always said, yeah, if I'm ever make the 15-story fall off of a balcony, I was pushed. I didn't jump. I've always said that. So, yeah, some people are here to learn how to enjoy life, and others are here just to not mess it up the way they did the last time.
Yes.
And yet, with those two different styles of perspectives, we're here and we're together. So, yeah, part of our journeys are to be together, and part of our journeys is to still do our individual learning. It's interesting how that works.
Now, I do have I was going to just be done with this, but I have one last thing to say. A friend of mine was actually reading a book, and I can't remember what the book was called. But in it talks about, this lady channeled all about twin flames and stuff. And she channels Michael, Archangel Michael, and the Council of Light. And it was explained in this book that this whole twin flame thing is an experiment, right? It's an experiment to help with the ascension. And we all know an experiment is not guaranteed. So, to Rob's comments of defense, yes, just because we've planned to do this and planned to come into union, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's always guaranteed. I guess I just come from the perspective of it is, because my journey was, my counsel was like, you're not coming home. I don't care how old you are. You ain't coming home till you get it right. Maybe other people didn't get that lecture before they incarnated.
As per a lot of school, I think I just skipped the lecture and just winged it.
Wung it.
Wung it.
So, to answer the question, why are so many twin flames still in separation? There's a lot of answers.
There's a lot of opportunities to still be in separation. There's a lot of opportunities to get together. It's just where you're at the moment.
Yeah. And it's not all bad. It just is.
I think we're running low on time.
Well, let's have a look. Oh, you're right. Look at Mr. Time Dude. 58:42. You're so smart.
We were going to try to keep this to just under an hour, simply because in the world of websites, there's been a little bit of resistance to longer videos, and we're just experimenting, just like somehow maybe Twin Flames could be. We're just experimenting with the thought of not breaking over an hour.
Yes. So, we wish you a Happy New Year.
Very much. Happy New Year.
And here's to 2022. Now, when you think about it, 222, that's an exciting year.
Yes.
Yes.
It's going to be a touch better for most people.
Well, let's hope.
We'll catch you later.
We love you guys.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.